Today we're going to be making a digital grid to help with our gridding project. So we're going to go to our favorite place in the world, which is Pixlr.com, specifically Advanced Pixlr E. It's going to make things a lot easier for us with the provided materials. First thing you want to do is open up Pixlr, then go to Open Image and find your grid that I provided for you. It's a nice grid, isn't it? It's going to make our lives a lot easier. Reminder, zoom bar is on the right over there. So what you're going to need to do first is you are going to need to unlock this. This is your background, so it's not really going to work. You can see that little lock over there. That's not good. So we need to go over to the upper left and click unlock. You did it. Great job. That's all it really took. Then we're going to hit the little plus, and we're going to insert an image into this file. So go ahead and find whatever art piece you have. It can be a drawing, it can be a photograph, it can really be anything, and drop it in. Ooh. Zoom out. Whatever is really comfortable for this. And then go ahead and find your blue anchor point there on the edge, and that's what we're going to use to resize this image inside of it. Is that good? Nah. Is that good? Nah. Yeah? Yeah. Nope. So you're resizing it as a way to help it fit within the 8-inch by 10-inch picture plane that you already have available to you. This is going to make gridding a lot easier for you, so you don't have to do as much math or anything. So since you know the image can be 8 by 10, it's just going to be easier. So let's get that grid showing. Go ahead and go over to the right and grab your layer. So just click and hold. And then this is the magic. Drag it underneath. And that's it. You can be done. Let's all go home. Well, let's not go home. We have a few things left to do. Number one, we want to desaturate this. Since we're going to be working primarily with pencils based off this, or marker, or anything like that, it helps to have it black and white already. Now, you don't have to do this, right? If you're doing a colored pencil thing or painting, you probably want to leave that in color so you can see it. And then that's it. Give it a name, and go over to Darnell Grid, so that way I know that this is the one with the grid. And then convert it to a JPEG, yeet that quality all the way up, hit save. Now upload it or print it wherever you need to. And now it might help to save a version of this without the grid on it. So same thing, save it without a grid. Boop. That's it. Here's what we're going to need though. We're going to need a big old piece of paper. A ruler, preferably one that reaches across your big old piece of paper, but not entirely necessary. A couple pencils. Eraser. Oh boy, you need that eraser. I can't tell you how much you need that eraser. A Sharpie, maybe? And your beautiful face. Ta-da. Ugh, I hated that. So for gridding, we need to pay attention to what sizes we're working on. So this is 8 by 10 1-inch squares. That means it is 8 by 10 squares. So we can figure out whatever paper size we want to work with based off of that very simple math of 1 to 1 or 1 to 1.5. It just needs to keep it relevant. So we're going to do 1.5-inch squares. Now with rulers, make sure you know how to use one. Most rulers, good rulers, don't begin on the end of the ruler. The reason this happens is because you ding them up. You don't want to change that. So make sure you're measuring from that tip part. So make sure it's where the inch starts, okay? I can't emphasize this enough. It has to be there. So we're going to make some light pencil marks at 1.5 inches all the way down the side. Make sure that you take your time with this, because you cannot realize maybe that you put a crooked mark or a crooked line in, and then the whole thing's ruined. Make sure to do it on the other side. I really recommend having your ruler be the same orientation the whole way on the sides of the paper that you go. When you're putting the marks down, it's just going to make your life easier, and why would I lie to you? So you're going to match the dots up. So I have one dot at the top, one dot at the bottom, and then I'm going to drag very lightly with my pencil. Look, you can barely even see it there. You want it to be light for two reasons. Number one, you need to be able to erase it. And number two, you need to be able to erase it. And if you dig into the paper, the pencil mark's going to get stuck inside of there, and it's all going to be terrible. So, again, take my advice. Lightly drag your pencil across. So I'm not holding it like you're writing or anything like that. I'm holding it lightly in my hand and just pulling down. And then, of course, put yourself in fast forward and do the rest of the marks. But very lightly. So when looking at this, we're seeing that this is a 12 by 18 inch piece of paper, which means we have 12 by 18 squares, but we need 12 by 16 squares because of our math earlier. So go ahead and just knock two of those off. Maybe you use them for practice or something later. All right, let's get to the actual gridding. I always recommend numbering this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1 through 10 going up. So that way you can keep track of what square is what, you know, like Battleship, but with your face. For actual gridding, there's not much of a secret to this. Things that are in a box match up to another box. So it is your job to correlate those two things together. Find out where your eyeball intersects on a grid line. And that's really it. All of this is just going to be an exercise in figuring that out, of slowly observing what your face actually looks like. Which I do recommend if you're going to be doing a self-portrait, make sure and make a, what's the thing called? A face. It's a lot easier to draw yourself if you don't recognize yourself, because, oh boy, the cheapest model you're ever going to have in your life is yourself, and you better be able to draw yourself. So I'm just continuing where the lines meet, you know, draw the other eye, stuff like that. This isn't going to look exact because we're just working with contour lines right now, right? You all remember contour lines. Contour lines are a way of defining mass and shape rather than volume. So we're not worried about shading or anything like that. It is going to be just placing outlines down where we need them to go. So that way, whenever we're doing this in the future, we can really do anything. Like, we can turn this into a colored pencil project. We can turn this into a drawing project. We can turn this into pen. We can turn this into anything we want because we're just simply identifying where things are right now. And that's the very important part. Now, I will say, mustaches make drawing a mouth very difficult. So my advice to all of you out there is don't grow a mustache. But if you do, you're going to kind of be just drawing shapes of things. Teeth are going to kind of look wonky, but whatever. It's all going to look good in the end, and that's all that really matters, right? So again, I'm focusing on where things intersect only on the line. I'm not trying to make anything up. I'm not trying to go, well, I'm sure this goes over here. No, I'm going, hey, this crosses at this part in the line. Oh, I should draw it there. And then hair, oh boy. You're just, again, inferring where you see things cross over, okay? Now, to just kind of finish up this video, I went ahead and did a Sharpie outline of all this to kind of emphasize where things are to make it easier to see. But that's what the finale of this drawing is. Now, for you, you may have just taken that pencil drawing and did a colored pencil project with it. Or maybe you did this gridding onto a canvas and did a painting in acrylics or something. That's fine. I was just kind of showing what this is like. You can do whatever you want. The nice thing about gridding is it frees you up. You can do whatever you want. You can grid this a foot by a foot and draw it on the side of a building. It doesn't matter. Once you've got things locked into a grid, you can draw as well as you possibly can, even if you're not very good. Erase those lines.